So we're also going to look in 3.1 grouped data. So for our purposes, a lot of data actually comes in as group data. We don't really get to see the actual data set, but it comes in with frequency, usually in a frequency table or in a histogram. So here is our problem 24 on page 101 of the textbook. It says find the mean and median from the following frequency table. So basically in this particular case we only have this piece of information in our table. And so the first step is of course we can enter the data into the computer, or calculator in this case, but we need one other piece before we enter it into the TI-83, and that is we need to calculate the midpoint for this particular frequency distribution, and we know how to do that because this value here, right, is equal to 50 plus 0 divided by 2, which is equal to 25. So that's how we got this midpoint. And again, we take these two and add it together to get this midpoint. We add these two together to get this midpoint, and so on. So we get the midpoints by the same procedure. Once we have this part of the table, we can enter it into the calculator. We're going to enter the midpoints in as our x value, which we call L1, and the frequency data is going to be L2. So in the group data set, we put L1 right here, and the frequency is in L2, and that's the first screen that you saw. And how did you get to that screen? Well, we hit the stats key and we hit enter, and then we hit enter again, and we get this particular screen, and we enter the data into the calculator. Notice that these have to be the same. In other words, 25 has to be 17. 75 has to be 26. So you got to make sure that they all line up. Then we hit the stat key again. And this time, when we hit the stat key, we'll move over to calculate. We move the icon over to calculate. We hit enter, and we get something called 1var stat. Well, in this case, we have to enter a spreadsheet, a column after the one variable stat. So we're going to enter L1, comma, L2, right? So second 1, comma, second 2. You have to have the comma there as well. Some of the calculators has what's called an X list and a frequency list. So if you have that situation, for the X list you'll put in L1, for the frequency list you'll put in L2. When you hit enter, you will get this beginning screen, and here you can see that X bar is equal to 145. So there's some other information here on this screen. We will certainly discuss that in 3.2. Certainly SX and sigma X we'll discuss. And also, if we arrow down, if we take our icon and we arrow down, we'll get this second screen where we're looking at the median, right? And remember, this is going to be called our 5-number summary, which we haven't talked about yet, but the median is there, and the median, in this case, is equal to 175, right? So X bar is 145, and the median is 175, and you can see that this is going to be skewed left because the mean is less than the median. So this is group data, and we can use our calculators to find the information on group data. And that concludes this particular problem.